Hello. The other handheld? What was the last handheld they had? It was the DS or the 3DS. And I don't think they've made games for that since the Switch came out. Because like all the other handhelds like the Game Boy, the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Color, they have their little Nintendo eShop. And that's where I believe everything is now. But yeah, I believe they stopped making stuff for the 3DS like quite a while ago. Look at the kitty. Right, the last one was what, the PSP? Get 'em, boys. That's it. Send in the big filler. Yo, this guy does not mess around. I like it. Yeah, that's a smart play. Like, I said, that's basically what I did. I was just like, Maybe not the right way, but fuck it. We made it right. Right? Like, digital at first, I was kind of against because download speeds were atrocious. Trying to download a full game when like the max and high-speed internet was capped at what, like 20 megabytes per second, you're wasting an entire day just waiting for the game to download, which sucks. But now it's like high-speed internet is actually feels like high-speed internet. And you have, like, like if you live in an area that has like fiber optic, especially, like there's what, like terabytes per second? Oh shit. Okay, we cannot be on the lava at all. Where, and like here, like with my regular like on Wi-Fi, oh damn it, I wonder if I can copy the cuckoo. But like I mean, like I was saying, digital downloads are so easy to get now. Like you have, hundreds of megabytes per second instead of 20. And so yeah, you have like a 20 gigabyte game or whatever. It's gonna still take you like 30 minutes or whatever, but it beats not being able to play games for the day because you're trying to download something or there's an update and it's gonna take forever because you have, you know, just your top speed is like 20 to 30 megabytes. Like, it's a lot more functional now than it was when it was first introduced, which I like. Like, and then when I got away from, well, I said got away, but my Xbox, like my 360 died, and then it was time to replace it with an Xbox One. Like, it was, I didn't realize it at the time, but I bought the digital version, not the disc version, so I was kind of stuck just switching to digital media. But like, I really don't regret it too much. Like, there's a few games that I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I don't get to play them anymore because I have the disc, and I didn't want to rebuy them digitally. But at the same time, it's like, I didn't play those games much anymore anyway. Right on. Like, that's probably something I'll have to look at when I finally decide to take the plunge into PlayStation. Because I just, like... Like, I like my Xbox. I like my Switch, but I do miss having a PlayStation because there's a lot of titles that I do wish I could play. Like, God of War. I missed the God of War series. Damn it. And apparently there's like quite a bit going on with that game series now. Like, there's what is it, Ragnarok? Is the most recent one. And like, there's stuff I'd just like to play. Like, that's, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's the possibility that with Xbox and PlayStation talking now, that because Xbox is gonna release a couple of its exclusive titles to PlayStation, that PlayStation might do the same. And it's like, well, the PlayStation hasn't announced anything, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be all the big name titles either. You know, like, they're big franchises. There's a slim possibility that they might come out, but there's a bigger possibility that they won't. Yeah, and that's like, that's one of those things that I guess they just need to really kind of figure out when they do stuff. And that's probably something we'll see more of going forward, is them just like straight up putting things out that are like, there's going to be like contracts and other things saying, okay, yeah, if we release this game on your platform, like, you can't put it on your network or Game Pass or whatever. I think like that was one of the big reasons Black Myth Wukong didn't come over to Xbox, was it was supposed to be a multi-console thing, but then I don't know if Xbox and them couldn't work out like how that was going to work. But like, that's, I mean, it's like Disney with their streaming service and Marvel with their streaming service, with Marvel on Disney Plus. It's like, Marvel wanted to their movies to be theater exclusives for a while. Then Disney Plus was just like, well, no, we'll put them on when we feel like it's going to make us money or bring people to the service. And then, like, I mean, it's great for the gamers, but I would imagine like the studios would feel that it's hurting their sales because it's like, oh, well, you know, if they can just pay for a Game Pass, which benefits Microsoft, they're not going to just buy the game, which that's not always true. Like, if you really like a game, I think you buy it. Like, period. Like, I own several games that I've had on Game Pass that it's like, because, you know, they're eventually going to get away from Game Pass or get off. And so if you want to keep playing them when they're not, you got to make sure you own the title. Otherwise, you're just stuck. Like, waiting for it to be free. And, like, yeah, admittedly, that's probably some people, and, like, you know, not every family has a big budget for gaming to where it's like, okay, yeah, we can drop $60 a month on a brand new title. And then, okay, then they're dropping this title the next month. And then this is coming out. And then it's like, it's hard to keep up with as a modern game. Like, first you want, like, you know, $600 for your system. And then you want another $20 a month for your like online service just to play the game that you already bought, and then you want 60 or what is it, no, $70 just to run the title. And then that's not even on top of like most of the games they want to release with like a deluxe version or a battle pass. And it's like, okay, yeah, you might be losing a little bit of money with the initial purchase of the game, but if you're running battle passes like Overwatch went to free. And they were still making a lot of money because, you know, Battle Pass. Like, Fortnite's been a free game since it was, you know, released. But they make their money on their Battle Passes. They make their money on their skins. They make their money on their microtransactions. And it's just, I think everybody's trying to come into the new era their own way, or they're trying to keep things the way it was. Well, I'm not bashing Fortnite or anything. I'm just saying it's like, you know, for a free game, Fortnite makes a lot of money. I mean, and it's not like predatory, I don't think, where it's like, okay, you have to fucking get this. It's like, it's not pay to win, I would say. It's like, I don't actually play Fortnite, but the skins. The skins don't actually change your stats in the game, do they? Like, they don't make you, like, invincible. Like, if you're the All Might skin, it doesn't give you, you know, invulnerability. Or, you know, like, if you're Wolverine, like, I don't think it gives you a healing factor. Or Elastigirl, like, you can't stretch across the map. Like, it's just a cool skin that you get to play with. Well, with Microsoft and them, and it's kind of like I said, like, I'm not trying to defend the parent company or anything, but it's when you enter into these agreements to release your game on a specific platform, that's going to have to, I think, be stuff that's going to be in the fine print going forward. And that's something that these game studios need to look at and say, hey, if we agree to let Microsoft to release the game on, you know, the Xbox, it has to stay off the Game Pass for at least 6 months, so it doesn't affect sales. After that, like, sure, if you guys drop it on, whatever, but you're gonna get this amount of time before. And that's just something that was never an issue before, so I don't think it's something anybody even thought of when you, like, get in these talks to release your game or to release your property onto somebody's, you know, to somebody else's property. Because that's really what this is. It's, you know, it's a console, like PlayStation Network, like Xbox Live, even what Nintendo Online. Like, Nintendo is very unique in it because they own all of their properties. Like, there's very few that are outside their, like, IP. You know, it's like they're not losing money by putting Mario on Nintendo Online. What do you mean, how do I know about Elastigirl? Like, I'm a gamer. I don't play Fortnite, but I follow quite a bit of, like, gaming stuff, and you know, I see TikToks, I see freaking Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. Maybe that should be my next step in content creation. Start doing, like, reviews and news and stuff like that. Because, you know, playing games is fun, but there's, like, a finite amount of time for that. But, like, the gaming world and gaming industry has always been, like, very interesting to me. And, like, I do try to keep up with stuff even though, like, I don't really play it. I mean, with Fortnite, like, I've never played Fortnite, but I know Fortnite's been a thing for years, and not completely ignorant doomy. Oh shit. I almost caught a bomb. There's one. Oh, nice. The other. Oh, it's like the Goron chef. But, like, I mean, should Microsoft really have gotten permission from these game studios to release their stuff on Game Pass? Yes. However, when you kind of into these things, like, it's like I said, that's going to have to be something that everybody should look into when they start doing business with these big companies, because it's like if you're writing a book, you know, if you write a book, you create the characters, you should trademark the characters, you should control the IP. However, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll let a publisher talk you into signing it over to them, and then you're going to get more money, or they're going to pay you a lump sum instead of royalties. Like, if your book doesn't do well, like, sure, that might look good on the front end, like, hey, and especially if you're struggling, you say, hey, we're going to give you 20 grand, and we're just going to buy your property from you, but we control it now. That's where, if they want to, like, write the next book and change everything that you wrote, they have the right to do that. Is it a little scummy? Sure, but it's, you know, you sign the contract. And, you know, and I think especially with dealing with larger studios or larger platforms, like, that's something these littler guys are going to really have to take into consideration. Well, I think Microsoft is just, I don't know, like, I do try to separate Microsoft and Xbox because I think they are separate entities. Like, Microsoft, when I think of Microsoft, I think of, like, you know, Excel, Microsoft Office, every other computer, like, you know, PowerPoint, stuff like that. But when I think of like Xbox, I think of the gaming side of it. And I do think it's one of those things where it's like they are taking advantage of the ignorance of some of these smaller studios and saying, hey, well, you didn't stipulate this when you signed on for us to produce your game, so you took the check, we get to do, you know, this. And until it's otherwise stated in contracts, which, like I said, going forward, that's something everybody should really kind of look into. And just go forward, because, like, you know, it's when you have larger game studios dealing with this. You have your lawyers, you have everything. But now that a lot of indie producers are like making their games and trying to get them out there, what do they really know? Like, sure, they made this great game, but what do they know about dealing with like Microsoft or Steam or a PlayStation Network? Nothing. Like, those guys are going to create their contract. They're going to try to make it seem like they're getting the better end of the deal while knowing full well what they're kind of doing behind the scenes. And it's a shitty practice, but it's hopefully something everybody is learning from as things progress. Rocks and rock potatoes. And I love her little cat outfit. Basically, yeah, because it's like you can be helped by them, but you can definitely be burned by them. And I think as the gaming industry continues to grow, that's going to be something that's going to be a learning process. You know, the big guy is always going to try to take advantage of the little guy any way they can. And, you know, the little guy is going to reach out thinking that, you know, the big guy has their best interests in mind. It's like, no, they really don't. Like Microsoft saying, hey, yeah, we'll produce your game. Like, you don't have to worry about this. We'll even send you a few developers to help smooth this over. You're accepting everything that comes with that check. And with Microsoft, it's like, yeah, like they're going to want to put it on Game Pass because Game Pass sales help Microsoft. You know, it's like if you have a Battle Pass attached to your game, like that doesn't benefit Microsoft. It's like with, was it Blizzard with Diablo? You pay for that, it's... Wait, what? 56. But like you're paying for that, and that goes, I would say that goes to the game studio. Because it's like, who's really buying, like with Diablo 4, like who's really buying Diablo 4 right now? Even with the new DLC, even with the new expansion. I bought Diablo 4 and I have not touched it in months, and I'm still basically waiting until this expansion really does really, really well before I even try to venture back into that. Rock Quarry to the northwest, and the Lizalfos Burrow to the north. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but like the thing I feel about that is like the studios let it happen too. And I mean, what is it? Ubisoft right now is in talks to actually sell, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, instead of selling, why don't they just do this, or why don't they just do that? And it's like, or there was one content creator like saying that Yves Guillemot should just be fired and blah 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 blah. It's like, well, when you're president or CEO of the studio, you're not going to fire yourself if you have the option to sell. Like, you're going to make your money, You're gonna leave it in the hands of somebody else and then walk away because I've played all the games. Like, there's probably stuff that's in the games that I've missed that other people have noticed. And same thing with those books. It's when you read a book or play a game or, you know, consume any kind of media, I think what you take away from it is a reflection of yourself, sometimes not always a reflection of what the person intended. Like, you know, it's one of the biggest things, like, I always had an issue with in English when I was in high school is like, you know, we had to write these reports on these books, and it's like, oh, well, what was the author thinking? Like, I don't know, like, the person is, you know, 400 years old. Like, their thoughts when they were writing this are not the same thoughts as in our modern world. Like, how the hell can you really make that comparison? Or, you know, it's like, oh, well, I think it's I know it's a meme, but the whole, like, what did the author mean by this when they wrote that the curtains were blue in this particular scene? It's like, maybe they just wanted to describe blue curtains. You know, maybe it's not like some deep-seated look into their, you know, depressive past or their love for their mother or something. It's like, maybe they just like, oh shit, I'm describing the house. Curtains, blue curtains. Okay, yeah, alright, next. Oh shit. Ta-da! Oh, nice. It doesn't... Oh, shit. Evaporate. I think it's just... You know... I mean, some things, like, sure, there might be a subtle message, there's subtext, stuff like that exists. But, you know, sometimes it's just a blue curtain, you know? Or, like, the people that try to modernize, like, classic writing for our issues today, it's like, no, that's not anything, because, you know, these issues didn't exist back then. Or it's like the things that we worry about right now, like, yeah, if they were not a worry for somebody writing a book or creating something during the Great Depression or one of the world wars. It's like ludicrous to think that there's some kind of like semblance there. It's just how? Like, is there a time traveler? Did they like think like, okay, this is, I mean, shit. In the 80s, we thought we'd have flying cars by now. We don't. Oh. Yeah, that's a tough thing to do in the 5th grade. I do not envy that at all. Oh, these are new boys. Nice. Right? Yeah. Do you see the cat outfit, bro? Of course I handle it with ease. Oh shit. They're on fire, Ricky Bobby. Ooh. Shadow Lizalfos. You know, you read their... You sit there and read your book, buddy. I'm gonna go handle this. Oh? Oh. Nice. Darston, I see your value now. Oh, I really should have upgraded my arrow. Ah! I burned. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's alright, buddy. It's the crater. A shortcut. No, where was it? Can't call a thing. I see. Goal might remember that crater shortcut you're after. Who's goal? Right? Like, have a fun game, get a good story, and, you know, graphics are nice, but, you know, most people play video games to, like, escape reality. Like, I know there's the graphics whores out there that's like, oh, if this game isn't 1080p and 60 frames per second, I can't touch it. But, like, that's a very, very small percentage of gamers. Like, and if you can't enjoy a game just because it's not 60 frames per second or 1080p graphics or hyper realistic in 4K, like, I don't know, I think you're kind of missing the point of games. Right? Like, it's... And the funny thing about it is, it's like, there's people's like, well, the human eye can only see up to 60 frames per second and stuff like that, but it's like... But if, in order for that to be true, that would mean there are people out there that can't see 60 frames per second at all, too. You know, like, it's just like having 20/20 vision. You know, you can have 20/20 vision, but not everybody does. Some people have, like, awful vision. So, to think that if you can see 60 frames per second or more than 60 frames per second, there's probably a majority of people out there that can't. And, you know, to them, it's like, what do you tell them? Like, hey, yeah, you're going to spend $70 on a game you can't really even fucking properly see. Go fuck yourself. Where's my money? Right? If there's like extreme lag, it is noticeable. Like if there's choppy stuff and the frame rate drops completely, but then you're usually seeing like blurs, you're seeing stuff that's not loading properly. There's like quite a bit going on. I mean, like when I first started this game, I was trying to run a program, like it's not something I'd ever ran before, but I have a laptop. Like, I do not have a big gaming PC or like a streaming computer or anything. Like, I stream off a laptop. You know, do I want to upgrade? Sure. Is it an absolute necessity? Nope. I mean, how do most people watch stuff anyway, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm watching a gaming stream, it's usually on my phone. And I don't give a shit about 4K on my phone. Like, period. Like, I don't even think my phone can go to 4K. And even then, it's like, you don't need 1080p on your cell phone either, because it's like, can your screen even handle that? And can your eyes even adjust to it at that size? Like, if you're watching it on like a computer screen or a nice monitor, sure, I can understand where that would be something that you'd want, but I would also imagine that if you have the capability to watch stuff like that and you have the monitor and computer and technology to do so, you're gonna follow streamers that also provide stuff like that. Like who's it? Like Maximilian Dude. Like, he is very, I think he's very about like having his stuff in 4K, and not specifically because it's, you know, beneficial to him. It's like, okay, yeah, if you're watching it on your phone, it's going to be clear. But if you're watching it on like a nice monitor, it's going to be clear. And he's, you know, well enough off, and he's been doing this long enough to where it makes sense. But for the majority of streamers out there, like, having your stuff in 4K is kind of a bit of overkill. And, you know, like, I'm not, like, I mean, 4Ks in most TVs that are sold right now, sure, but if you haven't bought a TV in the last few years, then it's not 4K anyway. So, you're not really missing out. Oh, what? Is this one riding a freaking Talus? He is. You son of a bitch. I mean, like, I think 4K is, like, important probably for movies and cinematic experience. Well, yeah, I mean, like, PCs now are much more popular than they used to be. Gaming PCs are a big thing. But at the same time, it's like, are you really catering to that audience, or are you just trying to get your stuff out there so it's, you know, consumable and digestible? And to me, if you are relying on something being 4K, 60 frames per second, you have to put that in your title to attract people. Like, that probably says something more about you as a streamer or a gamer than it does about your equipment. Like, because it's, if you need to like rely on that, like, are you entertaining? Are you playing the game properly? Are you, like, you know, are you what's drawing your audience, or like, is it just you have a clear video and they're watching you on mute and they're not going to follow, they're not going to like, and you're not going to build any kind of community? I don't know. You know, it's like, I think a poor craftsman blames their tool. And you know, if you're a person that's a streamer and you're relying on the graphics of the game or even the game itself to carry your stream, like, you might be doing something wrong. Yay! And the gaming itself, I think, is just still constantly evolving, and right now, I feel it's blowing up. Despite what some studios may say, like, oh yeah, gaming's in a downturn, and it's like, no, it's not really in a downturn, it's just people are being more selective with what they want to buy and what they're willing to give their money up for. You know, like, $50 today is not the same as $50 was, like, 20 years ago, so it's like, even then, it's like, yeah, a brand new game used to cost, what, $50, and that was expensive several years ago. But now it's like, oh, you want a new game? It's going to be 70. Oh, you want the deluxe game? It's going to be 90. You want the ultimate edition? That's going to be 110. And, when you release these games and then they're kind of shit, and then they flop and they fail, they let down your fans, and, they don't go anywhere, like, it puts a bad taste in your mouth. And so when your studio releases the next game, more fans are not going to be willing to just drop that money right away and say, hey, yeah, okay, let's go. I mean, look at look at Halo. Halo used to be such a huge first-person shooter, and then with Halo Infinite, it just, I don't think it did well at all. And then same thing, like you pointed out, the titles that Ubisoft puts out. It's like, yeah, they used to be a good studio, but then, you burn your fans once. If you have enough, like like clout and shit, like, sure, they may take a chance on the second one, but then when that second time comes around, you burn them again, and then the third time, and then the fourth title, and then you're still asking for $70 per, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you spent $70 on this game, it was kind of shit, we're going to give you some updates, but it's going to cost you like another $30 for the battle pass so you can have the update. And it's like, well, fuck you, why am I going to do that? Like, FromSoft is doing well. Like, why is FromSoft doing well? Because they make good games first. Like, they're not just, all right, let's throw out what we have and cash in while we can. It's like, no, like, they want their game to be representative of the studio and who they are as a company, not just, oh, well, we had a hit, so let's go. Like, let's crank out the next one. Like, it's like they're not talking about Elden Ring 2 right now. They're just, they finished the DLC, they finished, Shadows of the Erd Tree. And like there's, what was it, Miyamoto, I think his name is? The head of the studio or whatever, he said like Elden Ring was close to what he wants out of the game, but it's not exactly there yet. And Kingdom Hearts, like, it's one of my favorite series. That series gets a lot of shit because it's like you have a game title release every fucking 10 years. But then you have the director of the game that wants the game to be representative of what he wants it to be. It's not just going to be, okay, Frozen came out, so let's hurry up and launch it. It's just like, yeah, Frozen was involved in the game. It's just one world of the game, but at the same time, they did not try to time it in, to help to release with Frozen or anything like that. It's like, no, the game's going to come out when he felt the game was ready. And yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, like, there's people that like it, people that don't like it. I actually like the game. I still have not played RE Mind, and That's actually on my to-do list before the end of the year, but you know, you have expectations for your product, I think, and if you let those expectations down so you can just try to make a quick buck, it's going to be reflective on, you know, the product, not and not actually help, which I think that's the one thing that these studios that are crumbling and failing, like, they're quick to cash in when they think they can, but they're not putting out the things that got them to where they were. Yeah, but that was like, that's kind of one of those things where you can see the company for those IPs held them to the fire on some things, and it's just like, fine, whatever. And I think with Kingdom Hearts 4, that's one of the things they said is like they're breaking away from Disney, so it's going to be different. Or like if they're going to renegotiate their contract, there's going to be some more creative clauses in there. It's like, okay, yeah. But Disney is like very, very infamous for protecting its property in like the worst way possible. They're supposed to be somewhere I'm finding? Like, I thought I made it to the end. Damn it. Okay. Try this again. That didn't work the way I thought it would. Oh, no wonder. I'm using the cloud, not my rock. I see here. Right? Like, oh god. Mickey. And Mickey has gone back to Valhalla where he will feed. Ah. Darston. You made it. Oh. Nice. Alright, like, I like South Park's commentary on quite a bit of stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not a fan of everything they do or everything they say, and I don't entirely agree with lots of it. But, you know, differing views and all that. But I think they kind of do take a fair shot at everybody and everything. Where it's like, it's needed. Holy moly. All this work just to get here.